A raise of hands, a show of hands for all of you who understand what this word means. So that's quite a few. So, great. For all of those who don't understand this word, when we refer to this word, we do not refer to anything that has to do with the moon. We are not talking about a dream. We are talking about a crazy, crazy, audacious goal. And it takes three things, three fundamental things in our eyes to live it: perseverance, honesty, and passion. You get these three things in place, and you will be there and things will fall into place. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy journey, but it will definitely be a fulfilling journey. In 2005, I was 12 years old, and that's when I came across this rover. This is the second Martian rover. It's called Spirit. It weighs a couple of 100 kilograms, and it was built by NASA and sent to Mars, and I was so blown away by the magnitude of technology and innovation that went into this that I decided that I'm going to build interplanetary rovers back then. And I also decided that when I get a dog, I'm going to call my dog Rover. So what followed afterwards were numerous competitions, papers, research projects. Basically, the thing is, nobody in a classroom can teach you how to build a rover. I mean, that's not a standard course. The only way you can learn it is if you get yourself out there. If you get your hands dirty, if you get some elbow grease, and that's what I did throughout until I landed up at Team Indus. Today, my team and I are working at India's first private, actually the world's first privately funded mission to another planet. We're going to the moon. And I would like to introduce to you ECA. ECA, or Ek Choti Si Asha, is a microlunar rover that is going to the moon. It has 2 cameras on the top. It will drive 500 meters and set back high definition images. This has never been done before. Oh, and I also got a dog, and I do call her Rover. It just so happens she's a female, but the name stayed. Now, Team Indus's Moonshot is true in a both literal and a figurative sense. Literal, why? Because we're actually going to the moon. And metaphorically, why? Because it is indeed a crazy, crazy, audacious goal. Back in 2007, X Prize Foundation got Google to back them up, and they launched an international competition called the GLXP, or the Google Lunar X Prize, for a prize money of $30 million. And they asked private teams, being 90% privately funded, soft land a spacecraft on the moon and drive 500 meters on the lunar surface. Team Indus is India's entry to that competition, and we plan on launching early or first quarter next year, so that's first week of March, and we plan on finishing the whole mission before March 31st. Now, to put things into perspective, there are 3 aspects to this mission. One is ECA, or the micro rover, which you see right here. The second is the lander. This is also completely designed in-house by our team. And the third is ISRO's workhorse, the PSLV. ECA sits on the lander. The name of the lander is HHK, which stands for Hum Honge Kamyab. And HHK and ECA together sit in the nose cone of the PSLV. The PSLV takes these two, deploys it at an 800 kilometer altitude from mean sea level. Using Earth's gravity, we slingshot around Earth the things that we see whenever ISRO launches something pretty similar. We keep on we keep on shooting around Earth, we keep on increasing the height of our orbit, and we keep on doing it until we get captured by the moon. Once we get captured by the moon, we start braking. Now the spacecraft is traveling close to 7.2 kilometers per second. And it takes 2 seconds for any command, any information, or anything for us to receive it, and then we need to spend more time thinking about it. What do we do next? So the next few minutes are similar to the terror minutes which Curiosity rover underwent before it landed. The spacecraft has to autonomously detect hazards, avoid them, and soft land. This is the trickiest part of the mission. But once that happens, ECA is deployed onto the lunar surface, and she finishes the last 500 meters of the 4 lakh journey. I would like to bring to your notice that when we started out, we were competing against 30 teams. We were competing against teams who were already in the space industry. But today there are only 2 teams that stand a chance to win this competition. One is us, and the other are the Israelis. Thank you. And that's not all. Now there are only three nations that have gone to the moon: the Russians, the Americans, and the Chinese. The Chinese went back in 2013, and their whole rover was about 130 kilograms. The Russians actually built a huge bathtub and they put 8 wheels around it, and they did that back in 1970s. And the Americans literally sent a two-seater car. Two people hopped on it. I mean, Neil Armstrong did, and then they roamed around. While this is only 7.5 kilograms. My point here is there is no precedence to this kind of engineering. I mean, the entire wheel, soil mechanics, and all those things are different, and we cannot find, readily available information or even equations or methods or algorithms to solve it. So we had to start from scratch. Now, our journey has been a rather remarkable one, from being rank outsiders to being on the cusp of history, and I want to take you through our journey. December 31st, 2010 was the deadline for registration. Rahul Narayan is our CEO and founder, and he is an IT entrepreneur. And he was waiting for an Indian team to register so that he could, render his IT services to. But pretty flustered to find that till December 30th, no Indian team was in it, he decided to take the leap of faith. He borrowed $50,000 and then he just registered himself. He woke up in the next year, and the first thing he did was, just to let it sink in. Oh my God, what have I signed up for? And the second thing that he did was he got 4 guys to sit around a table and Google how to build a spacecraft. Believe me, the first couple of results that he found, and those 4 guys found, were about spacecraft made out of paper, sugar, and bread. Even NASA doesn't think that you can learn off Google how to build a spacecraft and actually go to the moon. We had very, very humble beginnings. We were literally a garage-based, bootstrapped band/company. And the thing is, so Elon Musk wrote off the credibility that he earned off PayPal. Richard Branson once said that if you want to be a millionaire, get $1 billion and start an airline or an aerospace company. We were the extreme opposite. We were really opposite. Okay. So the next couple of years, we read about 1,000 papers. Thank God for NASA's, open source. Not open source. I mean, all the research what they've done, they've put it up in the public domain, and we made use of that. And we read about Surveyor and other missions that went to Mars and around Earth, and that's how we built our database. By 2013, we figured out what we have to do, and we figured out a possible strategy, and then that was the time we started pitching to investors. I remember being a part of an investor meet back in 2013, and after a 2-hour-long grueling tech session, and the guy gets up and says, "Bravo, guys, I'm really impressed, and when are you launching this video game?" He just refused to believe that we were actually going to the moon. I mean, after that meeting, even I had trouble believing, but no. The entire team, we just kept our heads low and we kept marching on, and that's what we had to do. Things really, really turned around in 2014. That's when a panel of judges, organized by the competition organizers, GLXP, and the panel of judges were made out of scientists from NASA and ISRO, and they came to India, they came to Bangalore, they came to our makeshift office to gauge how technically ready are we and whether we can prove our landing technology right or wrong. There was no second chance, and there was no walking away from it, but we nailed it. We walked away at the end of the week with $1 million, and that was the game changer, and that was, I think, what they were talking about. With those $1 million and the credibility that we earned, we went out and rented a campus. We got more hardware coming in. We were able to run more tests. We built our clean rooms, and we got the attention of retired ISRO veterans. Today, we stand about 120 strong, and we stand on the shoulders of 24 giants, and which are retired ISRO veterans who bring with them more than 400 years of Indian space engineering knowledge base. and they help us each and every day to push further towards this mission. It's a privilege to actually sit down with them over tea, coffee, lunch, dinner, at all times of the day and deliberate on all technicalities ranging from a selection of a bolt to overall mission strategy. I mean, how many of us get a chance to do that? But here we are. And in contrast to what we experienced in 2013, we've got some of the biggest players on the Indian economic sphere backing us. We've got Nandan Nilekani, we've got Ratan Tata, all because once we were able to build technology and credibility, they started believing in us. Somewhere inside, they share the same moonshot. Nandan Nilekani once said that I'm not investing in the mission, but I'm investing in the impact this mission can have on the Indian society. What I'm talking about is, with this mission, we want to prove to the world what India is capable of. We want to tell the world that even state-of-the-art technologies, high-precision engineering, and so on and so forth can be born out of India as well. We want to inspire all the young dreamers and the entrepreneurs that no moonshot is too big a moonshot, and if you keep your heads to it, and if you just keep marching on, you will get there. Which is why we call this Har Indian Ka Moonshot. And moving on, I want to ask you guys, I mean, what's keeping you from living your moonshot? I mean, there are things that you will have to let go. I mean, it could be a college party, or it could be I don't know, a little bit of classroom hours. I don't know how that affects academics and all. Or it could be hair. I mean, look at me. But the fact is that you'll have to make sacrifices. And if somebody asks me now, was it all worth it? Is it worth it? I would even flinch before saying absolutely. So going to the moon is my and my team's moonshot. I wonder what's yours. Thank you. That's all.